don't know what's funny for, or why I have to scream. I don't know why I instigate, say what I don't mean. I don't know how I got this way, I know it's not alright, so I'm breaking the habit.
Greetings, YouTube. It is I, Revenge of the Fallen. I've been meaning to do a commentary on c0ct0pus Prime for some time now. In fact, I had a commentary planned for one of his videos a while ago, but I recently saw his video on the Tim Tebow Superbowl ad, and, well, I have a lot to say about it.
Impact segment tonight, the first big Super Bowl controversy. This year, CBS charging more than $2 million for a 30-second commercial during the game, if you can believe it. Conservative Focus on the Family organization has ponied up the money to run an ad about abortion. The commercial stars Tim Tebow and his mother. Apparently, Mrs. Tebow was told to have an abortion for health reasons, but obviously did not.
I don't feel like I'm very preachy about it, but I do stand up for what I believe, and at least you can respect that because I do stand up. And unfortunately, in today's society, not many athletes tend to do that.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate that more athletes don't stand up and talk about what they believe in, because that's what we need. We need athletes to tell us what they believe and what their opinions are. Because if you can throw or catch a football or baseball or play some kind of sport, your opinion somehow fucking matters when it comes to religion or politics, right?
Well, in this case it would. Tim Tebow's mother was advised to abort a pregnancy which was supposed to be life-threatening for both herself and Tim, but she decided not to have the abortion, and the both of them turned out just fine, despite what the doctors had predicted. So yeah, if you're a healthy athlete whose mother almost aborted you because she was told you wouldn't survive, your opinion would matter when it comes to abortion. I will agree with you on one aspect. Celebrities can be annoying when they preach about politics or religion. As you said, just because you can play a sport, or sing, or act, or perform comedy, doesn't mean your opinion matters. And unfortunately, we have pompous celebrity douchebags like Bill Maher, and Janine Garofalo, and Barbara Streisand, and Matt Damon bombarding us with their ignorant opinions.
And don't fucking talk to me about, oh, you're not preachy about it. Dude, people are going to pay millions of dollars so you can preach with your mommy for 30 seconds.
Well, if you're like me and you actually saw the Super Bowl ad, then you realize that it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't preachy, it was just Tim's mother talking about her son. Abortion wasn't even mentioned in the ad.
And that's the reason I'm here, is because my mom is a very courageous woman, and wouldn't say no in a lot of circumstances. So, that's the reason I'm here, and I'm very thankful for that.
Your mom was courageous only in the way that she had sex with your dad. He nutted inside your mom, created your ass. You were like, what, the fifth or sixth of one of their kids? You know, they obviously fucked like bunnies and didn't know how to fucking wear a condom. The only thing your mom didn't say no to was your dad saying, "Can I come inside?"
Wow. Just wow. That has to be the lowest thing I ever heard uttered from you, c0ct0pus. That was the most ignorant thing I ever heard from you. Tim's mom was courageous in that she had a life-threatening pregnancy that could have killed both her and Tim, and even though she had the choice to end it with an abortion, she chose to go along with the pregnancy anyway, even if it meant the death of her. But I guess that's not a courageous thing to do, you fucking ignorant asshole.
All right, with us now is Yamu Green, president of the Women's Media Center, wants CBS to abort the ad, so to speak. Just to give you a little more perspective, nobody's seen the ad yet, and Focus on the Family wouldn't even send us a script. CBS has seen the script. You haven't seen the ad or the script, right?
As you said, no one has seen the ad. CBS has approved this ad.
Right, but you haven't seen anything.
I've not seen anything,
asked them and they wouldn't send it to us.
It's clear that CBS has approved this
Yeah,
ad
it's gonna run.
Contradicting
their
long-standing policy to
don't
not
outkick your
air
coverage to use a
advocacy
football metaphor.
Jesus, Bill, just let her answer one of your questions. I mean, you ask a question, let someone answer. Why even have them on the show if you're just going to sit there and interrupt them so you can get your points in, which you're going to continue to do this entire fucking interview.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to agree with you there. It is annoying how Bill interrupts everyone.
Let me just explain what we believe is in the ad.
So first you're going to badger her for not seeing the ad, and then you're going to go say, oh, well, let me tell you what we believe is in the ad. Asshole.
And I'm going to agree with you there, too.
We asked them and they wouldn't send it to us. let me just explain what we believe is in the ad. Mrs. Tebow is in the Philippines. She got sick while she was pregnant with Tim. Some doctor said you should abort the baby because the baby may not come out healthy. All right? Mrs. Tebow said no, gave birth to Tim, her 5th child. They're going to celebrate that fact in the ad. It is obviously a pro-life ad. And your beef is?
Well, let's start with the fact that abortion is illegal in the Philippines and has been since 1930. So how do you explain that? Which doctors was she seeing that were giving her advice to do something illegal? Huh? Let's address that fact. I hope you got a few extra $1 million so you can buy another 30 seconds to try and explain that shit.
Well, I hardly find that to be relevant. Even when abortion was illegal here in America, there were still doctors who were performing abortions and advising women to have them. I'm not saying that your objection isn't legit. It does sound fishy that a doctor would suggest an abortion in a country where it's illegal, but that only makes the situation implausible, not impossible.
Well, I can't imagine the decision that the Tebows had to face when given the news about the pregnancy. And I think it's that very choice that Pam Tebow was allowed to make about her reproductive health decisions that this ad is trying to take away from all American women.
If it's a positive ad that I made my choice and it was the right choice, and I'm happy we made the choice, and Tim obviously is happy.
Because we all know that if a doctor makes a suggestion that you might want to consider getting an abortion because there might be a problem with the child, there's never a problem with the child, and 100% of the time they grow up to be famous fucking quarterbacks, right?
c0ct0pus, that's not the point he was making, and you know it. What he's trying to say is that women shouldn't be quick to have an abortion just because there may be a problem with the pregnancy or the child, because that doesn't necessarily mean there will be a problem. There have been many children born who were supposed to have problems or were not supposed to survive the pregnancy, yet they managed to survive anyway and live healthy, normal lives, just like Tim Tebow. No, they're not all going to be quarterbacks. Some may be doctors, or lawyers, or politicians, or scientists, or teachers, or maybe they won't amount to anything at all. I don't know. That's the point. With every abortion, we risk losing a person who might have contributed greatly to society. Here's a great example. If you knew a woman who was pregnant, who had 8 kids already, 3 who were deaf, 2 who were blind, 1 mentally retarded, and the woman had syphilis, would you recommend that she have an abortion? If you said yes, congratulations, you just aborted Beethoven.
Why is that trying to take anything away from anybody? It's a positive statement.
This is clearly a thinly veiled attempt to undermine a woman's right to make decisions about her reproductive
How is it, though?
decisions.
I don't understand how it undermines anything. It just tells their story.
All right, Bill, let's get to something basic. When you're interviewing someone, you ask them a question, and they try and answer it, you cannot continue to interrupt them with the same question. If I say, like, how old are you? And you're like, 50, and I'm like, how old? You're like, 50, how old? 50, how old? I mean, come on, that it gets old, motherfucker. Stop doing it. I mean, it's a fucking useless tactic, and nobody's impressed by it but yourself.
While I do agree that nobody should be interrupted, I think the problem here was that Bill had asked the question and the woman wasn't giving a straight answer. Bill had asked, how is this commercial taking away a woman's choice? The woman answered, because it undermines her decision. Bill then interrupted her, asking how the commercial does that, and the woman continues with the same answer. Using your example, c0ct0pus, that's more like if I asked somebody, how old are you? And they replied, much older than you, and I kept interrupting them, asking, how old is that? And they continue responding, much, much older. Also, the woman's argument is retarded. How does a commercial take away a woman's choice? Commercials don't take away choices, they give choices. The commercial in question is letting women know they have a choice not to have an abortion. Even then, women still have free will. They can still choose to have an abortion even after they watch the ad. But according to this woman's batshit logic, a McDonald's commercial has the power to take away my choice to go to Burger King.